So let us see what happens. So, okay. Dear Ajahn, what shall we do before helping people? For example, do we need to be strong enough to help others? Thank you. Um, it depends on what kind of help you want to do, how strong you have to be. Some kinds of help you can do without all that much strength. If just what you want to do is just to give a gift to somebody or say a nice word or just to help people out, very often it is very straightforward. You don't need a lot of strength. And I would recommend you to start helping others as soon as you possibly can. It's one of the most important things on the spiritual path, is to be of service to other people. This is one of the great things about the monastic life. The monastic life is really a life of service. And this is what makes it so powerful and so interesting. Everything I do, I try to do in service of others. I try to think of my life like that, as a service for others. And that is what I'm the one who benefits the most, from being of service. So this is the nice thing about it. These are not different things, they are the same thing. So please be of service. Think of everything you do as a potential gift to other people. Every time you open your mouth, you can actually give other people a gift. But if you want to help people in a more difficult way, it depends on what you mean here. If you mean helping people who are in difficult situation or doing work which is very demanding in terms of people who may not want to listen to you or whatever, then sometimes it does take a lot of strength. If you want to kind of help someone to become a Buddhist or whatever it might be, this is what people often ask, my family, they don't really want to listen to the Dhamma, what shall I do? Don't know what you can do. Sometimes you can't do very much because people tend to be very stubborn. And if they don't want to listen to you and you try to convert them, they become even more stubborn usually. They don't want people to kind of tell them what to do. So one of the things, if you want to help others to come to the Dhamma, to become better people or whatever, is knowing the right time is incredibly important. Having kind of being open, understanding where they're at. Are they ready to hear these things? Are they willing to listen to you? Do you have that kind of relationship with them whereby they actually will listen to you? And then you can make these things happen as a consequence. So it depends on what you want to do. But the most important thing is just to remember helping comes in so many different ways. And helping is often very simple. It's about how you speak to other people. It's about the words that come out of your mouth. Is it being gentle? Is it being useful? Is it being kind? How do you think about other people? Thinking about people in the right way is also a kind of helping. And that is the most basic and most important things. And then helping in a bigger picture, that is something that is secondary. But if you can do it, then great. So if I didn't answer your question properly, you're most welcome to try again. So you can always put another question, similar one, down tomorrow if you like. You can say, you don't understand, that's not what I'm asking you. And then we'll see what happens. Okay, next question. When feeling sleepy, how can I contemplate to inspire myself and take the responsibility to free from rebirth of sleep, wake, sleep? Okay, so this is like the re-waking or rebirth. Okay, thank you very much. When you feel sleepy, people feel sleepy for many different reasons. So it depends on why you are feeling sleepy, how you can overcome it. And sometimes you feel sleepy because you need sleep. And if you need sleep, then sleep. And that's kind of the best solution to that kind of sleepiness. And when you come to a retreat like this, very often you come from a very busy life, the mind may be tired, and then you just relax, allow things to be. One of the mistakes that people do is to fight the sleeping mind. But if the mind is sleepy and you fight it, sometimes it becomes even more sleepy because that makes it even more tired when you try to fight it. So very often that is the wrong answer. It doesn't work if you try to fight the sleepy mind. So first of all, the the most basic thing is allow things to be. And so you just go with the flow of things. Don't force things. Yeah, this is kind of the basic idea here. But generally speaking, the way the Buddha talks about this is that if you have the hindrance of sleepiness, then as you quite rightly say, you need to inspire the mind. Yeah, you need to bring some light into the mind. You need to bring some positive energy into your mind. And there's many different ways of doing that. One way is what we were doing just before. Try to do a bit of metta meditation. Metta energizes you, yeah, because it feels good. It uplifts the mind. That is one way of doing this. Another way is just simply to have a sense of gratitude. Yeah, there's lots of things to be grateful for, especially if you are here, and you can be grateful for the people who organize this. Yeah, or if you are one of the organizers, be grateful for having the opportunity to organize. Yeah, what a wonderful service that is to organize these things. Be grateful to yourself for coming here. Yeah, not everyone comes here. Those people who are really missing out, who don't come here to these kind of things. Be grateful to the Buddha for teaching these teachings. Isn't it amazing to have a person who spent his entire life just looking after other people so they could find happiness? The Buddha would have preferred to sit in a cave somewhere, sit underground, whatever. He did not want to deal with people. Yeah, people are troublesome. People would argue back. When the Buddha was kind, they would say, "But no, I don't agree with you." There's many examples of this in the suttas. There was a monk, and the Buddha was saying, "Oh, eat 1 meal a day." He said, No, I want to eat 2 meals a day, or I want to eat whatever, 3 meals a day, or whatever. The Buddha said, "Well, look at me, I'm healthy, 1 meal a day. You can do the same." No, I insist. Yeah. And so this monk just kept on eating, even though the Buddha was telling him to only eat 1 meal a day. Yeah, it's kind of hard to understand, isn't it? Because we think that the Buddha is so amazing that if the Buddha says so, you would say, "Yes, sir," straight away, just follow what he does. But it wasn't like that. And so the Buddha, despite the difficulties, despite people being hard to teach sometimes, he would teach for 45 years against his own interest, simply out of compassion for us and for everyone in the world. What an amazing thing that is. It's extraordinary that someone would do that. And so you have a feeling of gratitude for the Buddha. You have a gratitude to someone like Ajahn Brahm. Ajahn Brahm is an example of someone who lives his entire life as an act of service as well. Everything he does is just an act of service. Yeah, and it's a beautiful life that someone like that lives. Have gratitude for so many things to be grateful for. Yeah. And, you see all the turmoil in the world, and while the world is in turmoil, we come here and just chillax and have a good time together. Isn't that great? You can just kick out all the turmoil and just have a peaceful and nice time instead. When the world is in turmoil, then the Dhamma is a real refuge. And we have that refuge away from the turmoil of the world. There's so many things to be grateful for. Wow, I'm so lucky. How come I'm so lucky to be a Buddhist? Born in Hong Kong helps, right? Because Buddhism isn't so far away. Still, you're lucky to come across the right kind of Dhamma in the right way, the teachings of the Buddha, all of these kind of things. It's extraordinary. So many things to be grateful for. And so this is another way of giving rise to that sense of joy and energy and inspiration that overcomes the tiredness of the mind. Later on this retreat, I'm going to talk about the recollections. There's a Mahanama Suttas coming up after the one we're doing now. If we are lucky enough to ever come to the end of the one we're doing now, it's uncertain. We may just do that one all the way through to the end, see what happens. And we can go slow, we can go fast, we can kind of see how the speed, what happens. It doesn't really matter so much whether you do 1 sutta or 20, because the content is exactly the same anyway. Yeah. So this is also going to be all about inspiration, about how to gain inspiration by contemplating the Buddha in the right way, contemplating the Dhamma in the right way, contemplating the Sangha in the right way, contemplating your own sila in the right way, your generosity in the right way, and the devatas in the right way, how to reflect on the devatas. All of these things give rise to inspiration. So these are different ways of doing that. Or if you know how to give rise to piti through whatever practice, whatever you are used to, piti is the joy, is the rapture of the mind, then give rise to piti through whatever way you can, you know how to do it. It doesn't really matter what it is that you do. So this is how you inspire yourself. And if you are still tired and you can't inspire yourself, then just, go and have a cup of tea. Yeah, be kind to yourself. Give yourself a hug. Yeah, self-hugging, like Ajahn Brahm does. Bring out the teddy bear. Yeah, hug the teddy bear. It's amazing. Those of you who have been to Jhana Grove, a few of you have been to Jhana Grove, you know what it's like that. There's a corner of teddy bears. There's a pile, a mountain of teddy bears. Yeah. And sometimes you see people that kind of bring a teddy bear along, and the kind of teddy bear is sitting next to them. And it's a nice idea, because a teddy bear is kind of something gentle and soft and nice, yeah? So it reminds you of metta when you have the teddy bear there. So you bring a teddy bear into your life, yeah? It's kind of beautiful. And sometimes they put the teddy bear on the teacher's seat. So when the teacher comes into the hall, the teddy bear is already there. Because a teddy bear is a suitable substitute teacher, right? It teaches you about metta. The teddy bear sits there, lying back, the teddy bear very happy. And then everyone kind of gets the teaching indirectly in that way. So these are little ways to kind of brighten up your mind. Be kind to yourself. Sometimes we are too hard on ourselves. Yeah, you are all really good people. Otherwise you wouldn't be here. Bad people don't come to places like this. Isn't that true? Usually, usually I ask, are there any bad people here? Usually I wonder, yeah, so no one ever raises their hand. That's the proof, yeah, no bad people. So, so appreciate yourself. Appreciate yourself for who you are. It really matters. It's really important. Okay. Okay, next one. Can you describe what is a fulfilling day for you? What has been the best and worst experience in your life so far? Okay, what is a fulfilling day? A fulfilling day can be so many different things. There was a very famous monk who said that at the end of the day, you should ask yourself, have I done the best I can do today? And if you have done the best you can do, then you can be satisfied. So you come to the end of the day and you look back and you say, okay, have I done what I can do? Have I spent my day wisely? The time usually goes very fast. And if you feel that you have spent it wisely in whatever way, then you've done well. It doesn't matter so much what it is. It can be hanging out with other people. It can be going to work. It can be coming here. It can be teaching, it can be doing some translation work, it can be meditating, but whatever it is that you do it well. That is the point. So when you're talking to others, do that well. Do it with kindness. Do it with care. Do it with understanding. Learn how to listen to what other people are saying. All of these kind of things. Do whatever you do well. And then you're never really going to go astray, because then you are building up the good qualities inside of you. That is what is the most important thing. And any day when you are building up the good qualities, is it going to be a fulfilling day. It moves you in the right direction. So, the best day of the best experience in your life so far, I don't know, lunch today was pretty good. I enjoyed my lunch today. Many nice experiences, yeah. When I think about, they are of a large variety of things, large variety of kinds of experience that you have. But of course, sometimes your meditation is the best experiences you have, because that is when you withdraw and you go within yourself. You're not disturbed so much by the outer world. So these are some of the most beautiful things. But in terms of kind of life-changing things, the most important thing I did in my life was to become a monk. That was the most important thing. And it was quite difficult for me to become a monk. Because I grew up in Norway. There's not many monks in Norway. I think 0 monks in Norway when I became a monk. Exactly 0. It's very hard to become a monk. So this is how I became a monk. I'll tell you the story, because it's kind of random, very random story. when I was a student in Norway, I was kind of getting interested in meditation practice and things. And I remember traveling to Japan when I was 21 years old. And when I came to Japan, I saw all of these Buddha statues everywhere. I went to the temples, I saw some monks. I thought, wow, this is really interesting. And I read my first book on Buddhism. It was one of these kind of really, kind of these sort of conversion books, right? That was done by one of these Taiwanese kind of things. And it wasn't very well done. It was Chinese characters and English on the other side, yeah, both. And it was kind of a bit sort of over the top. But still, there was something there which I recognized. And the weird thing, I was staying in a hotel, and this book was in the drawer in the hotel. Yeah, there was no Bible. It had this Buddhist book inside. I thought, okay. And so I am a convert to Buddhism because of that book in the hotel. Yeah, I always thought that these books in the hotel, they don't work. Nobody reads those stupid books in the hotel. But for me, it worked. Yeah, I became pretty much a Buddhist because of that. I think actually I was a Buddhist already, but I recognized there's something here. Then I came back to Norway again, and one of my best friends, he's still a very good friend, and he's coming to Bodhinyana Monastery soon to visit me. Where he's a very successful business person, in so many different ways. But he still comes, and when we were at university, I came back from Japan. He had this book on meditation practice called The Calm Technique. And so he chucked this book to me and said, here, check out this. I said, okay, thank you. And so I got this book, and I tried it. And straight away, I had some nice results. And that is really how it took off. And then later on, I was studying in London. I was going to university, in City University in London, and I was studying finance of all things. And it was terrible. I hated it. Don't know why I studied it, probably because some crazy reason. And I realized I don't want to work in this field, absolutely not. And so one day I decided, let me go and check out the nearest Buddhist monasteries. Yeah, I had no idea what to do. So what did I do? I took out the phone book. This was before the internet, right? So you had the big, massive telephone catalogs with telephone numbers. And so it is all alphabetical order, yes? I went to B, U, D, yeah? Buddhist, and I came to Buddhist Society of London. I thought, okay, that's pretty cool. So I called them up, and I said, okay, are there any monasteries, near where I live? And I said, oh yeah, okay. So yeah, there was these monasteries, Amaravati and Chithurst. Check them out. And so I went to Chithurst Monastery, and that's how my life started as a Buddhist. It's very random, right? Really, really random. This is what happens when you are kind of born in a country when you don't know anything about Buddhism. It's really random. And so I went there, and I kind of checked it out, and I decided after a while to become an anagarika to stay there. But I wasn't really satisfied. And because I wasn't really satisfied, but then one day I got this kind of talk, from this monk gave me this talk. He kind of gave it to me like this. Shh, don't say anything. Yeah, this is a special talk. Give it straight back to me after you're finished. I got this feeling I was given some kind of contraband. That's what it felt like, right? Okay, shh, no one must know about this special talk. And so I listened to this talk, and he also gave me a written thing. Yeah, it was Ajahn Brahm. Ajahn Brahm already controversial. Yeah, Ajahn Brahm has always been controversial because Ajahn Brahm is very outspoken. And these days, actually, not so much anymore. But he was very outspoken. So I listened to this talk, and straight away I knew this is my teacher. And so after a while, I called Australia, and I said, "Oh, hello, is that Ajahn Brahm? Yes. Can I come to Australia?" And he said, "Who are you?" And I said, "Oh, actually, I'm so and so. Can I come to Australia?" He said, "Okay, come to Australia." And that's how I ended up in Australia. It's really random. It's really, really random. Actually, probably isn't as random as it seems. Some of these things, probably there is some connection there that you don't know about. That, to me, was the most kind of remarkable thing. And then when I went to Australia, I knew I had come to the right place. And I have been there ever since. So that is kind of the biggest miracle in my life. How on earth I was able to discover the monastery in Perth is kind of really beyond belief. It's really, really hard to grasp, but to fathom how that happened. And you have to be very stubborn, yeah? You have to go against whatever your parents say. Don't listen too much to your parents. Listen to your parents at the right time, but not at the wrong time, yeah? Sometimes you have to ignore what your parents say. You just have to go for it. Because your parents are not enlightened. Often they don't know what is the right thing. If you have a very strong calling to become a Buddhist nun or a Buddhist monk, you should do it. You shouldn't ignore your parents, but you should lie down on the floor and say, I will either die or I will go forth. That is what you should do. Me too. You may think that in the Chinese culture that, okay, the children have to do what the parents say and the parents whatever. But in Western culture also, parents are not very happy if you want to become a Buddhist monk. I can tell you that much. My parents not happy at all, yeah? Initially, they were really against it. Took a long time before they understood what I was doing. Now very happy. Actually, my father also very happy before he passed away. But it took a long time before they kind of turned around, yeah? This is not just Asian culture, it's everywhere around the world. Parents don't really want you to do weird stuff like becoming a Buddhist monk. It's not weird at all. It's the best thing in the world if you understand what's going on here. So this is what I would say are the kind of best things in my life. The worst experience in my life, what are they? I guess when I was young, sometimes suffering from depression and these kind of things. Yeah, these can be very, very difficult and very traumatic, especially when you're young and you don't really understand what is going on. That can be kind of hard. But that is a long time ago now. So I can hardly remember what that is like anymore here. So, okay. Oui. Let's carry on. Okay, is it possible to share how you decided to be a monk, especially from a Norwegian background, please? Ding. Since life is suffering, what are your views on procreation? How do you think the world needs more, and do you think the world needs more human beings, especially with climate change impacting the environment? Well, the procreation is a very Christian kind of word. It has the idea that you create something, procreation. Actually, we're not creating anything at all. People don't get born because we create them. People get born because of craving. So they will get born anyway, regardless of whether we procreate or not. That's kind of irrelevant. And so people get born because of that. And so the right question to ask is not whether you should have a child or not. If you want to have a child, you should ask yourself, are you able to give that child a good upbringing so that it becomes a good citizen, it becomes a blessing for the world. And if you are a good Buddhist and you have good values, then chances are you will be able to give a child some kind of positive influence in the world. And then it is okay to have a child. But if you think that actually you can't do anything positive for a child, well, then it's probably best not to have a child. So that's the kind of question you should ask instead. Yeah? So, because people will get born if they have to get born, because craving is what drives them. This is kind of the point. So, do you think the world needs more human beings? Probably not. Yeah, maybe that's kind of a good point. And I think the population in the world is probably going to start contracting very soon. I understand that the Chinese population of mainland China is kind of contracting already because of the very low birth rates in mainland China. So, the population is going to go down enormously. And India is probably not too far behind. That also is going to start contracting in a couple of decades or whatever. So there is change happening already. But I agree, I don't think more people is what we need. But if they have to get born, they probably will get born. So what can you do sometimes? All right. What is your reason for becoming a monk? So, what is the reason? This is kind of another interesting thing. Why should we be a monk? And one reason was simply because I wasn't satisfied with the ordinary life. I thought it was pointless. It seemed stupid to me. Why should I live an ordinary existence? Do what everyone else does. Is anyone else happy? No. Should I do the same thing so I can also be unhappy? No. No point, right? It seems kind of pointless. I looked at my parents. I had quite good parents. But were they really happy? They were kind of okay. Do I want to end up exactly like my parents? Does anyone here want to end up exactly like your parents? Not really, right? Because you know your parents well, you know their suffering, you know their problems, you know what life is like. But that is what happens. If we live an ordinary life, we tend to end up just like our parents. And I thought to myself, I don't want to end up like my parents. Do I want to end up like my brother? My brother is quite happily married. He has a nice wife. He has 2 young kids. Still, do I want to end up like that? No. To me, it looks like a prison. I see my brother and his wife and his children. He's busy all the time, driving his children around, working hard. Every minute of the day is accounted for. I don't want that kind of life. To me, it looks like dukkha, real dukkha. Yeah, and so you see all of that and you think, no, yuck. And so you look in a different direction. These are the kind of things that kind of made me become a monk. But it's also very interesting when I look at my life and I look at some of the ideas I had when I was young. I had these ideas of living in solitude when I was just very, very young, maybe 10 or 12 years old. I was thinking about living in the kuti in the forest by myself. That's kind of weird. Why? What sort of 10-year-old kind of dreams about living in a kuti in the forest? And I think it's quite likely that I was a monk or maybe a nun. I don't know in a past life. Yeah, that's what I think. Because for me, it came kind of natural. To me, it seemed like the right thing to do. Yeah, why should I not be a monk? That's what was kind of my question. Why should I not be a monk? I should be a monk. Yeah, of course I should be a monk. It's kind of obvious. And so it came kind of that, and I think that can only be explained through past life experience. That is what I think is the ultimate truth about it. And in a sense, you know, when you start out, you tend to be very conceited. You know, I remember, yeah, Buddhism is the best, and I'm going to do the best because I'm the best, so I'm going to do the best. Something like that. Yeah, you can't conceited when you're young. You think you understand the world, and you think what is right, and you understand what is good and bad, and all of these kind of things. But then after a while, when you realize, actually it's nothing to do about you. It's not because you are intelligent or wise or stupid or whatever. That's not the reason why you become a monk. The reason is because of a past life. That's kind of scary, because it means that instead of you making a choice, it means that you are forced to do this because of past conditions. It's like you are on this railroad, you are on these tracks, and you can't get off those tracks. You have to go in that direction. And of course, what that means is that when you start to see that, it feels kind of scary because you start to feel trapped. Maybe being a monk is a trap. Yeah, because I'm just doing it because of past reasons. That's not really a good reason. And that's kind of scary. And then what happens then is that you want to investigate whether you really are doing the right thing. And so that's kind of one of the reasons why I became interested in the suttas. What actually is the word of the Buddha? I don't want to have someone else's word. I want to know what the Buddha taught. If he started this teaching, I want to know what the main person said, the main person behind this. That's what I want to find out, because that person is going to know the best what Buddhism is about. And so I spent quite a lot of time trying to investigate, understanding the history of the Dhamma, understanding the development of these teachings, learning the Pali language, doing translations myself, and all of these kind of things. That was time very, very well spent. Then you start to feel a very solid confidence in these teachings. It is no longer a habit. It becomes your personal feeling or your personal kind of wisdom in a way, right? That drives you on this path instead. This is kind of how you are a monk. So different times of your life, you are a monk for different reasons. Yeah, and it becomes gradually over time, it becomes more and more solid. That's kind of the idea. Okay. Dear Ajahn, when I practice metta, I often found myself merely verbalizing, may all beings be well and happy, without actually feeling it. How do I improve my practice so metta feels more real? So you have to mean it. First of all, you have to choose your object wisely. Yeah, choose the object wisely. That means that you have to choose someone you really respect, someone it is easy to see the good qualities in, someone who is truly kind, truly generous, truly compassionate, truly caring, has all of these kind of qualities. Remind yourself what these qualities mean. What do they feel like? Yeah, they feel like beautiful qualities. And then see that person in light of those qualities. Yeah, and then, once you build all of that up, then say, may you be well and happy. See them in your mind's eye, maybe with a smile on your face, radiant. Yeah, and then, may you be well, may you be happy. That is one way of doing it. Then you have to mean it. You really have to mean it. Yeah, you really want them to be well and happy. So it's not just about saying it, but saying it coming from a particular place. Yeah, making it strong intention that this is what you want. Another way of doing it is not to do it towards specific people at all. Actually, another way, first of all, do it towards yourself. Yeah, may I be well and happy. May I be well. Some people can make that work, and it can be quite beautiful because it's very sort of healing in a way. You have to feel kindness towards yourself in that way. May I be happy. Wow, isn't that nice? May I be happy. It feels nice, right? Because you deserve happiness as well. If that doesn't work, try sending well wishes to the different directions. Send it out to the world, to the north, to the east, to the west, or whatever. Send it to the devas. Yeah, that's a nice thing to do, because the devas are very beautiful beings. We know that they have been reborn in the Deva Loka because of good qualities. So imagine these beautiful beings of light, yeah? Devas out there. May you be happy. You can almost build up an imaginary thing in your mind. Beautiful, shining beings, the qualities that they have are kind of, you can see it in their body, the way they are, because of their qualities from the past. This is kind of now reflected in what they look like. Beautiful, shining, translucent beings. If it works better for you, you can also do it towards animals. Yeah, animals can be nice. It becomes more like compassion when you do it towards animals, because animals, they suffer more. But sometimes metta and compassion is not that easy to distinguish anyway. It's kind of often a little bit mixed. So you can bring in some animals as well. Yeah, like whatever animals. Usually a cute animal is usually helpful. Yeah, like a kitten or something like that. That's Ajahn Brahm's kind of favorite, a kitten, or a puppy, or you know, something kind of cute. And like a whale. Whale is kind of nice. Yeah? May the whales be happy. And then you find an object that works for you, and then you try to come from your heart, and you keep on saying it, yeah, until it starts to work. And if it doesn't work, that's okay. You try again next time. Okay, Ajahn. There are 4 Nikayas. What are their differences? Are there any sequence in reading? Why are they structured in this way? Thank you. There are 4 Nikayas. What are the differences? Okay, long discourses are long. Middle-length discourses are middle-length. Yeah, so surprise, surprise. Connected discourses, they are shorter, usually, but they are connected in themes, so they have certain themes. And the numerical discourses are just kind of usually short, and they have a certain number of things within them. Yeah, so the 5 spiritual faculties, or the 8 this, the 9 that, the 10 this, and this kind of thing. Yeah. And what I would recommend you read if you want to grab one of these collections, I would recommend to start with the middle-length discourses, because they are quite long, and very often they are quite complete, and so you can see the Buddha interacting with people, so you get a feeling for the Buddha as a person, and that can be very, very useful. You see the Buddha interacting with people, and then he usually gives quite a full discourse. It is not just a small piece of advice, but usually full. And by full discourse, what I mean is that the Buddha starts at the very beginning. Yeah, the path begins here, and it usually goes all the way to the end. It's like a complete practice, if you like, from the beginning to the end of the path. And one of the ways the Buddha does this is teaching what is called the gradual training, yeah, which starts off from the moment you meet Buddhism until the moment you become an arahant. It takes you all the way through that. So that is the beautiful thing about the middle-length discourses. The long discourses are sometimes a little bit too long, yeah. Sometimes you kind of, okay, and sometimes there's too many things going on, yeah. And some of them are really hard to read. Like the first one, the Brahmajala Sutta, Brahma's net, is like 62 wrong views. And after a while, you may not find it all that interesting, all those views. You may wonder, what on earth are these views about? You need some help to understand the sutta like that. If you need some help, one good place to go is to go to the Buddha Society of Western Australia website, and you will find teachings there, talks on these suttas. So, for example, the long discourses, I have myself talked about the Brahmajala Sutta, Brahma's net. I think I did it over 6 or 7 hours. Yeah, it takes a long time to go through this kind of things. So you have to be really interested. I wouldn't recommend starting there, but if you're really into the Dhamma, then these things are nice to do. One of the really beautiful suttas I would recommend you to read is the Mahaparinibbana Sutta, which is the sutta on the Buddha's passing away. Very, very beautiful sutta. Talks about the end of the Buddha's life, all the teachings that he gives to his monastics and also to the lay people, how to survive, what to do after he passes away. Very beautiful sutta. And that also I have done over many, I can't remember how many I did, 15, 20 sessions, something like that, to finish that sutta. But it's so much, it's so rich, there's so many things going on there. Right now, I'm in the middle of doing the Samanapala Sutta. But because I do the sutta readings quite rarely, it's like I only get to do 2 or 3 a year. So if it takes 10 times, 15 times, it takes 5 years to finish one sutta. So that's the downside of, of these things. It can take a long time to hear all of these things. Samanapala Sutta is a sutta on the gradual training from the very beginning of the path to the very end, and in all the various kind of details. Also very nice. So Digha Nikaya is nice in that sense. Long suttas, some of them are very useful. There's a beautiful sutta about dependent origination there called the Mahanidana Sutta. Digha Nikaya 15. There's the Mahasatipatthana Sutta is there, which is not so interesting. I would recommend the Majjhima Nikaya version, Majjhima Nikaya number 10. Satipatthana Sutta is better. There is the Payasi Sutta in the Digha Nikaya 23, which is a nice sutta about Prince Payasi. The discussion between Prince Payasi and a monk called Kumara Kassapa. And the Prince Payasi doesn't believe in rebirth. And then Venerable Kumara Kassapa tries to convince him that there is rebirth. Yeah, it's kind of a nice discussion back and forth about that topic. And there's a number of other very quite interesting suttas, like the Aganya Sutta and the Dhammacakkasayanada Sutta, etc., that are quite nice there. But Majjhima Nikaya is generally better. Coming to the Samyutta Nikaya, the connected discourses, they can be very boring, they can be very similar very often, especially if you go to the wrong collection. There's 56 collections. Each collection is one collection of connected discourses. Yeah, so you have the connected discourses on the 5 khandhas, the 5 aggregates, the 5 aspects of a person. You have the connected discourses on the 6 sense bases. Yeah, and there are 250 discourses on the 6 sense bases, and some of them are very, very similar. And after a while, unless you're very interested in the Dhamma, you may find it boring. So what I would recommend you to read there is the first book called the Sagatavagga, the book on with verses. And it has, for example, 25 discourses where the Buddha is in discussion with King Pasenadi. King Pasenadi, one of the great kings in ancient India. Yeah, very nice discussions that they have. There is the discussions where the Buddha teaches the Devatas. Yeah, the Devas come down. The gods come down to speak to the Buddha, and the Buddha teaches the Devas. And the Devas say some kind of verse, yeah, and the Buddha replies. Often very beautiful, very inspiring, very inspirational. So read them for inspiration. Don't read them to understand the Dhamma so much, because they're not very clear very often, but they're very beautiful and inspiring. And you also find there, you find the Bhikkhuni Samyutta, yeah, and So not so many suttas with bhikkhunis, but this is one of the places where you find the bhikkhunis, the nuns, yeah? And some of the very beautiful verses with the nuns there as well you can read. I think it's important that, especially as a woman, it's nice to read about bhikkhunis who were enlightened. Yeah, it is very encouraging when you see that. So Buddhism tends to be a little bit male-centric, like all religions. Yeah, kind of one of the problems. So we need to kind of bring that in as well. So all of these things are nice and inspiring. One of the things I would recommend, because it can be difficult to understand and classify all the suttas, get a book where the suttas are already classified. And one of those books is called In the Buddha's Words. That is a compilation of suttas by Venerable Bhikkhu Bodhi. He is like the #1 translator of the suttas. Really, I would say. You have Bhante Sujato now translating a lot, but I would maybe still say that Bhikkhu Bodhi is a little bit, his language skills and his abilities are really kind of astonishing, and maybe in the class of their own. So read that compilation, because when it is compiled, it is compiled according to topic, and then there are nice notes and nice introduction to explain what is going on. This can be very helpful in the Buddha's words. Listen to explanation of the suttas, yeah? Especially my explanations. My explanations are very good. No, I think, of course, I think my explanations are good. Otherwise, I wouldn't give them, right? Otherwise, I would be kind of a hypocrite if I gave bad explanations. But there are many people who give nice explanations. Ajahn Brahm gives nice sutta readings. Bhikkhu Bodhi gives nice sutta readings. Bhante Sujato gives nice sutta readings. We have some up-and-coming sutta monks in our monastery in Perth, like Venerable Sunyo. He gives nice sutta readings. And so there are lots of people who do this. Venerable Karunika at Santi Monastery, she is very good with the suttas. So lots of people who give nice. Maybe Venerable Visuddhachari give nice sutta readings. Yes? Yes, she's nodding, so she gives nice sutta readings. So we have many, so there's lots of possibilities out there that can be very helpful to get you started. Okay. So, what do you mean not so many, too many questions, Della? That's the problem, yeah. Anyway. Dear Ajahn, when we are slug in our practice, so that means like tired or something, is that what it means? How to generate energy, okay, that's what it means. Energy to stay diligent in our practice, thank you. So, stuck, is that what it says? I'm not sure what it says. Anyway, whatever. I get the general idea. How to generate energy to stay diligent in our practice. The most important thing in the Buddha's teachings is the idea of right view. To understand why this really matters. That this is the meaning of life, the practice of the Dhamma. There is nothing else that is really meaningful. Everything else is going around in circles. Everything else just gets you absolutely nowhere. People think that their life is very important. They think that their work is incredibly important to move forward. They think that they have to do all of this kind of thing. But actually, from a Buddhist point of view, it is all really meaningless. It doesn't get you anywhere at all. If you are going to have an ordinary life, the way to make your ordinary life meaningful is to bring Buddhist values into your ordinary life. Be kind to the people around you. Use your family situation and your work to be a good Buddhist. That is the right way of doing these things. Then work becomes meaningful. But work in itself is not actually meaningful. It just goes around. You've done this a million times before. Yeah. What's the point? It has point only insofar as it does something in the practice, as it makes you a better person. This is what life is about. What else are you going to do? This is kind of the point. So if you don't have the diligence, if you don't have this desire to be kind, if you don't, every moment you don't take the opportunity to do what is right, it means your view is not strong enough. You don't have this feeling that this is it. There is nothing else in the world that matters. It's as if you have found the greatest treasure in the world. And then instead of going and digging to find the greatest treasure, you know it is over there. You go and dig in the dung over here. If the great treasure is over there, why are you digging in the dung? This is the problem. This is the famous story with Ajahn Brahm talking about the worm and its lovely pile of dung. Yeah? The Buddha is trying to pull us out from the dung. And we say, no, 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 this dung is so nice. I want to stay in the dung. That's really what is happening in this world. And so we crawl back into the dung again and again and again. But the Buddha is over here. The gold is here. The treasure is here. The greatest happiness that anyone can possibly experience is available to each and every one of us. So why aren't we doing that? Come back to the suttas. Understand what the Buddha is talking about. Understand that happiness, joy, contentment, freedom, all the good things in life come from living well, from being kind, from being compassionate, from being generous, from doing all the right things. That is where everything meaningful comes from. It does not come from finishing your work on time or whatever. If the boss fires you because you don't finish work, think, yay, my boss fired me, hooray! Now I can go and join Della in her beauty parlor, and we can work together there and kind of make people happy there instead. Yeah? What a wonderful thing it is. Sometimes we just, if you do lose your job, I understand that it can be traumatic, especially if your finances are tight or whatever. Of course, I understand that. But also, sometimes it opens up new opportunities. Yeah? So don't worry too much about those things. This is kind of, I spoke to someone here today who said life was so difficult because the work was so hard and people were kind of, really difficult, etc., etc. And so sometimes, if you get fired from that kind of job, yeah, you can jump up and down for joy afterwards because it was so difficult anyway. So this is how you stay diligent. Come back to the Dhamma. Listen to these teachings. Really understand what the Buddha is talking about. This is what it was meant by right view. Yeah, this is why right view matters so enormously. This is why the Buddha is the eye in the world. The Buddha sees. The Buddha has the ability to draw us out of the delusion of life, move us in the right direction, and then we can achieve something similar to what the Buddha was achieving. This is how you sustain this practice. Yeah? Come back to the Dhamma. If you start to feel your diligence is lost, come back and listen to a good Dhamma talk that energizes you, that inspires you. Read a sutta. Do whatever it takes to inspire you. Yeah, go with Freddie to Thailand. Go and visit Ajahn. And then, I'm sure Freddie will be very happy to take you along if you want to tag along over there. Yeah, do these things that actually keep you afloat. Don't allow yourself to be drowned in existence in ordinary life. It is difficult, but right view is always the answer. Being inspired again is the way forward. Okay, so can you lead a death contemplation, Ajahn? That's a very easy one. Probably yes. Let's see how things go, because this is a very short retreat. We only have a few days. Today is Saturday already? Yeah? 3 more days, that's all? Very little. Okay, we'll see how things go. Yep. Okay, last question for tonight. It is the first time I came to a meditation retreat. Welcome. Not sure who it is, but whoever you are, welcome. Yeah, nice to have you here. Tonight's guided meditation is excellent for a beginner. Will a guided walking meditation be conducted? Will it be conducted? Guided, I will tell you how to do walking meditation. No need to guide. Yeah, I'll tell you what to do. So, walking meditation, basically, you need a flat piece of ground. 20 to 30 steps is approximately right. Yeah, this hall here is roughly the right length, or you can do it outside. And then you have a place where you turn around, so you have a place to start and a place to stop. And then you walk back and forth. And the way to walk, don't walk very slow, because that is using too much force. Walk at a normal pace. That's what I would recommend. So if you're feeling very restless, you can walk fast, tuk, 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 and then until the mind kind of calms down, yeah? And then you walk more slowly. So walk what feels natural. And then, as you do the walking, there are different things you can do. one of the nice things about walking meditation, it is not, when you sit down, you tend to want to watch the breath, you want to do something that makes you peaceful. When you do walking meditation, you can do other things. You can do all kinds of things. Sometimes you just want to enjoy. You just walk back and forth, you enjoy the peace, you enjoy the Kaduri center. You think, wow, how nice to be here. It is peaceful here, it is quiet. It is pretty good here, right? Except when the military starts to shoot down on the flat. That's when it kind of breaks, like they did yesterday. But usually it's okay here. It's actually not a bad place at all. Thinking that we are in Hong Kong, one of the most densely populated places in the world, is pretty amazing that you have a beautiful place like this. So you just enjoy the fact that you are here. You feel blessed to have these things. You count your blessings. That's one thing you can do in walking meditation. Don't do anything at all. If we try too hard always to focus on things, the mind will eventually rebel. So if you're trying to focus on the breath while you're sitting, don't do a focused meditation when you do walking meditation. Do something more easy. Otherwise, your mind will start to rebel after a while and it won't work anymore. So do just walking back and forth, enjoying the peace. Or contemplate something. You can do metta meditation while you are walking. You can do death contemplation while you're walking. You can contemplate the content of the suttas. What we did today, all of these kind of things. You can reflect on the idea of impermanence. All of these kind of contemplations you can do as you walk in meditation. One of the most powerful ways of reflecting impermanence is actually death contemplation, because death is a very powerful moment of impermanence. And so these are the things I would recommend you to do, but don't try too hard. Sometimes just walk back and forth and just observe your mind. What is happening in my mind? Understand what are your stumbling blocks. What are the difficulties that you have? What does my mind like to hang out? Sometimes your mind will hang out with irritation. They did this. Okay, you have to forgive. You have to be not so hard on other people. Of course, people make mistakes. And so you learn to look at people in a new way, with more compassion, more understanding, knowing that they are just programmed to be the way they are. So compassion is the right way. Or you can see your attachments. You think about the things of life. So why am I thinking about work all the time? Who cares about work anyway, right? It's kind of irrelevant. Okay, let go of all the work. It will look after itself when I go back. Don't solve problems in meditation. Very common to solve problems. The mind becomes a little bit more powerful and awake, and you start solving problems straight away. Please don't do that, because those problems have no end. You have the illusion that they have an end. That's why you try to solve them, but actually there is no end. Leave all those problems to one side. Don't go there. You start to understand your mind. What are your stumbling blocks? When you kind of look carefully, and then you take some countermeasure. You use some wisdom practice to stop the mind from going to those places. And then you are on the right track. So these are the things I would recommend you to do. If you are really desperate to do samatha, calming meditation, when you walk, you can do that as well if you want to. And usually the way to do that is to just walk back and forth and just feel your feet as you walk. Every aspect of the feet moving, touching the ground, lifting up, moving forward, touching the ground. And by feeling the movement on your feet, feeling how they touch the ground, then turning around, going back again, by focus on that movement, focus on the feeling in the feet, it's possible to become incredibly peaceful even during walking meditation. I wouldn't normally recommend that, but you can do that if you want to. The time is 9 o'clock, so I'm going to stop there. And so that is all for tonight. So please keep on enjoying yourself. What time do they open the hall in the morning? 6:30? 6:30, okay. So I may come down tomorrow morning and join you for meditation, see how things go. I wasn't sure when breakfast was happening this morning, so I was a bit unsure. So tomorrow morning, 7:30, is that a good time? Is that a good time? Ready? Yeah? Okay. See what happens. Okay, just checking with you. Because I want to have if I have some idea, it makes it easier to decide what to do here. So that's good. Okay, so let's just pay respect to Buddha Dhamma Sangha before we call it an evening. So. Arahang Samma Sambuddho Bhagava Buddhang Bhagavantang Abhivademi Svakatu Bhagavata Dhammo Dhammang Namasami Supatipanno Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Sanghang Namami